We'll call the Scottsboro City Council meeting Monday, February 11th, 2013 to order. The invocation will be given by Mr. Kennemer. The Pledge of Allegiance given by myself. Mr. Wheeler, will you do a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Smith?
Here.
Ms. McQuarrie?
Here.
Mr. Gary Stewart?
Here.
Mr. Miller?
Here.
Mr. Patrick Stewart?
Here.
Mr. President, you have a quorum and you're free to do the business of the city.
First item is the adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. The next item is the approval of the previous minutes from January 28th. Do I have a motion to approve the previous minutes?
I make a motion to approve previous minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. There is no old business, so we'll go to the new business. The first item is the Human Resource Director. Mr. Mayor.
As you all know, we've had an open since the middle of December for our Human Resources Director. We accepted applications. We received 27 applications. Then the Administrative Committee interviewed 5 applicants last Thursday, or Wednesday and Thursday. We had 5 good quality applicants. Anytime you come down and you have 5 going for one position, it's a very difficult decision. And we came to the conclusion that the recommendation would be, the committee will recommend that we hire Ms. Erin Dixon as the HR Director effective March 1st. She met the qualifications as far as having the human resources experience, and also has 5 years in a government setting. So I'd like to thank Carol and Patrick for their time that they put into this, going through the application process, and the time they spent 2 afternoons here, and for their hard work. So my recommendation would be that we hire Ms. Erin Dixon as the Human Resource Director effective March 1st.
Thank you, Mayor. With that, do I have a motion that we hire Ms. Erin Dixon as the Human Resource Director?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
No second.
Any discussion? Rick, will you do a roll call vote?
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. McQuarrie?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Gary Stewart?
Yes.
Mr. Patrick Stewart?
Yes.
Mr. President, motion carries.
Thank you. Mr. Lewis Pleasant, will you come up front, please?
Mr. Mayor, council members, I came here to speak on the issues of First Monday. I've only been a resident of Scottsboro for approximately 5 years, but I've been coming to the city here for over 50 years. And that was one of the things that we always enjoyed, was First Monday. I hate to see it go down, and I feel with what's being done or spoken of being to be done is a deterrent for First Monday. If the city makes a decision to forego the setup fee for the First Monday vendors, will there still be portalets furnished on the square, and how would they be paid for? Or is that going?
Let me answer that now as you go. I mean, I'll answer that for you as we go if you want me to. The answer is yes. We will still furnish the portable toilets up there, and it will come out of the expenses, budget expenses of the city.
Okay, because it has been stated It only takes in approximately 6,000,
Yeah.
and 2,000 goes to the portalets, so
Right.
that was.
We would still do that, yes, sir.
Okay. Would there be any rules and regulations for the people setting up on the square? There's dealers that have been coming here for 15, 20, 30 years, that when I talk to them there, and they set up the same spot every month. What's going to happen when anybody can come in and set up after 6 o'clock on Friday evening, and how many spaces are they allowed to take up? 1, 2, 10? You know, there's dealers that have a lot of things that they can come here with. Now, you come Saturday morning at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and the vendors that have been coming here for years gets here and there's no place to set up. How much turmoil is that going to cause? Is that going to get the police department involved? And then the city say, well, because the first Monday being such a nuisance, we're going to do away with it. I don't want to see that happen. And that's what I fear will happen, because you have rules and regulations here. You have someone in charge of the gavel to stop or start any part of the meeting. Who's going to stop or start it over there when there's an argument because someone come in and take too many spaces? I think that there should be a charge, and the $10 that they get per month is nothing. Maybe it should go to $20 a month, and that money put into a promotional fund to promote First Monday instead of trying to push it under the rug. So.
Just to address that point, if I could, Mr. Pleasant, what we have talked about, and I think Mr. Kenner's working on an ordinance, is that it's changed just a little bit since we talked in the office back there a couple of weeks ago, that you would be able to call and get your space annually, even though it would be no cost. If you had 2 spaces, then you would call and we'd reserve that for you, and you would have that. It's just a matter of calling. We'd have a map that showed that. Now, as far as your point about the number of spaces, I think that's a great point, and that's something that probably needs to be addressed. And I don't know if there's a maximum number of spaces now. I kind of think it says 4, but I'm not positive about that. But that is something that probably ought to be addressed in that ordinance, that only a certain number of spaces that one person can.
But people that, I'm sorry to interrupt you, people that don't do annual, but come here on a weekend, especially the holiday weekends, you know, the 4th of July weekend, if it falls where it's close, or Labor Day weekend, and they get here, like I say, how do they know that I've got spot 237 and 238, and I get here to set up and there's someone already in it?
The other side of that is that if you're not here by a certain time, that spot becomes open, and that's the way it's set up now. I think it's either 8 o'clock or 8:30, that if you're not in that spot, it can be used by someone else.
But there's people come in on Friday evening after 6 and set up. I get there at 6 o'clock on Saturday morning, and there's someone already in my
They
spot.
shouldn't be in your spot if you've reserved it, because we're not going to give them that spot.
How are you going to guarantee?
We have a amount. Any way that we guarantee it now, it's really not a guarantee now. I mean, that can happen currently under the setup.
But you have someone come by there and tell people to move, or they're in the wrong spot or whatever.
Right.
You're not going to have anybody doing that if you.
I don't know how many times somebody gets in somebody's spots. Maybe that's something we need to check into.
Okay, that is my concerns, and, you know, I'd like to see the first Monday continue. That's my opinion.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Pleasant. We'll move to reports. Mr. Mayor?
I don't have anything.
Mr. Smith? Mr. Perry?
Just remember to shop local and recycle.
Mr. Miller? Just like to congratulate the 7 wrestlers that qualified to compete in the state wrestling tournament this weekend, and hopefully some people can come out and support them. Mr. Gary Stewart? I don't have anything either. With that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make it a motion.
I have a second. Second. Any discussion on that? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.